Welcome back to Make Good Choices Monday. I'm Becky Amio, and if you guys want to hear about the wreck I got into with myself this last week with a stud, stick around. I'm going to tell you what happened, how I fixed it, and how I plan to prevent it from happening in the future. So I want to start by saying how much respect I have for those people who are able to take a performance stallion and go on with them. The people who train those stallions to do what they do, to keep them in line, to perform at them at the highest levels. I have so much respect for those people. And it's one of those things that's on my bucket list to be able to do, not just start a stud, not just ride one for a couple years, but to actually perform on that horse in high pressure situations, whether it be speed events or judged events. I don't care. I just want to do it. So I got into starting studs. People started bringing them to me mostly in the last, I guess 8 years or so. And I'm not really sure why. I don't know if it was because I did a good job on their other horses or because they wanted good feedback from me on disposition, because disposition has always been my highest priority. And I'd work with these 2 or 3 year olds and I'd give good feedback to the owners. And so it's kind of been something that I'm known for at this point. And I purchase studs mainly because, a good stud makes a great gelding, right? My intention is generally either to get them going well enough so that the next person can take them, or so I can geld them and make a great rider out of them, a good using animal that somebody else can go on with eventually. So I have a lot of studs standing here, a lot. I usually have a 3-year-old, mostly 2-year-olds, and 2-year-olds really kind of don't know what they are yet. Occasionally they do, and you can kind of stick them in a corral that's at the end of a line of corrals, and you're careful about standing them across the rail from a mare. Simple enough. Well, right now, and I take that back. I've had one 8-year-old stud here. It was Harlan's Top Gun, and I rode him when he was a 3-year-old. He came back for a tune-up. He's the sire of most of my horses, and great disposition. I have a picture of him. I'll try to insert it right here, of me standing there with him and his daughter, just a little mini me version of him. And when JD took the picture of us, he was like, okay, do you want me to get the picture when he mounts her or when he strikes you in the head? Just teasing me. But, just very, very well-behaved gentleman of a stud. Had a great start. I got to ride him. He's always been in a very, controlled environment where he has to mind his P's and Q's, but he gets to go out with his mares and he comes back, and, he just has that great disposition that's easy to work with. And so when I got him back as an 8-year-old, he was really easy to be around, easy to ride, easy to keep tuning up on. And so, honestly, so prior to that and now, I mostly only have 2s and 3-year-olds. And, I just got my personal stud back from a friend that was using him down in Alabama to breed her mares. And now I've started him. I got him back last year and I rode him again last year. And now he's 4. And every year makes a difference. And especially if they've had that opportunity to breed a mare, you have that, experience now, and he knows what that's all about. And I am not in any way saying that my friend didn't work with him or whatever. Her job was not to work with him. My job was to start him and ride him and make sure he was something that we wanted to make more of. And her job was, I've got the mares, we're going to put him out with mares and we're going to test breed him and see how he does on these proven mares. So, she got after him when he needed getting after. He wasn't around the mares per se until it was breeding time, so he wasn't given that opportunity to be naughty. You kind of set yourself up for success all the time. Well, I got him back. He's got 3 of her mares bred. One they're not sure of yet. They're still waiting to do an ultrasound on her, so so far success, right? So I got him back, 4-year-old stud. Hasn't been asked to really do much of anything except for stand around and eat and, my pretty pony every once in a while for pictures. And I have him in a corral, again, down at the end of the row of corrals, and so nobody has to walk by him. And when I do something with him, I kind of take the scenic route around and make sure I don't put him in any position to be naughty, right? And the first day I had him back, I put him to work, and I made sure he was worked down pretty good. And it was groundwork day. I'm going to do some groundwork for a while before I get back on him again. You know, I just feel like they need that refresher course and to get back into the work ethic and back into the swing of things like we all do. And I worked him in the round pen, and then I needed to hand walk him and cool him out. I'm a firm believer in hand walking horses. Creates a relationship with them. You learn their idiosyncrasies. If I walk them up by my house, I can tie them to the horse trailer, so they get that experience of being tied to the horse trailer. I run in the house and get a snack usually. You know, just a chance for them to walk, be quiet, nothing's asked of them, and then work on their manners, correct? You know, sounds good in theory, right? So I had taken his work halter off of him and put his regular like barn halter on, and it's a 3/16 stiff rope halter with a couple of nose knots, so I thought I had enough bite. And I was walking him with a regular lead rope. I have a 16-foot lead rope that I swear by. I mean, I live and breathe and die by that lead rope. I take it everywhere with me. I use it for everything from loading a horse in the trailer to tying the trailer door back to hobbling one if I need to. I mean, this lead rope I've had it for, I think, going on 7 years now, and it's been through one snap. I wasn't walking him with that lead rope. I wasn't walking him with a 25-foot lunge line. I was walking him with a 9-foot lead. And I went to walk him up to the house, up the road, and walk past my 2 performance mares that are in a pen together, and then the old brood mare that he used to live with, and he is the sire of her colt. We walked past them, and well, we didn't really walk past them. Now, I didn't tell this story to JD, and he'll probably never find out this story because I don't think he'll watch this video. So he literally drug me over to the mares, and I don't have enough ass behind me to stop that. And I tried to I wish there was a video, you guys, because this is the stuff that they don't show you on RFD TV. This is the stuff that they don't show you in videos, you know, when they show you how everything is just perfect. This was a train wreck, and he drugged me, and I just kind of went running behind him, and I'm just trying to lean on my lead rope as best I can, but I've only got 9 foot of lead, and I tried to send him, which he knows that game, you know, the sending him back and forth, that Chris Cox, you know, Clinton Anderson stuff, you know, that men that weigh 100 pounds more than I do, you know, get away with, that are taller than me, that have a longer wingspan than I do, right? And I couldn't do it, and I didn't work with him on that in the round pen. He knows that he's done it at some point, but he hasn't been tuned up on it in a while. And I tried to send him, he just dragged me. And then I tried to send him back this way, and he dragged me back that way. And I was just like, oh God, this is going from bad to worse. And all my body was really starting to hurt because I have, you know, all those injuries, they come back to haunt you in times of stress, okay? Everything hurts, okay? And you're just getting drugged, and my foot was hurting me, and my lower back, and my elbow, and I'm like, I can't hold him. I'm just having that panic. And I'm in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh dear God, I hope JD doesn't see this. Like, part of me wanted JD to come and help me and save me, and the other part of me was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed by this. I don't want anybody to see this. You know, that was that moment, okay, when you're so embarrassed by what your horse is doing. And why did I think this was going to be okay? How on earth did I think that this was going to work out, right? You know, probably not the best choice I made that day, okay? So I thought I got him, you know, what felt like an eternity of doing this and trying to get his attention, and he's nickering, and his head is way up in the air, and these mares aren't helping, you know, because they're nickering too. And I thought I got him stopped, and I'm like, okay, well, I just need to walk back down to the tack room, change my halters out, put a different lead rope on it, and do this again. Suck it up. And I went to switch my hands with the lead rope, and he did this toss with his head, just a little teeny toss, and the lead rope slipped out of my hand. Yeah. yeah, we'll take a moment there to recognize how big of a disaster this turned into. Thought it was bad before, it got worse. So he took off right to the pregnant mare and started squealing, striking at her panels, ran around. I'm losing my damn mind at this point. Meanwhile, down in my arena, I've got three 3-year-old studs down there and three 3-year-old geldings and a 2-year-old gelding down in my arena. And 2 of the studs are just losing their damn mind running the fence. And they're just running and sticking their head over the fence, trying to get part of the action. And my stud is running around the mare pen, and then he saw my other mares and he went right up to them and stuck his head over, and both mares squealed at him and struck, and then they ran across their pen. So then he ran around and he started to run back down to my tack room. And I thought, oh God, please don't go up against the studs in the arena. That is going to be a real disaster, right? Because then you got to get in there and try to catch him, and you got squealing, striking, fighting, and it kind of doesn't matter how much you yell, right? And he turned back around and he came back up to the mares again. And the old pregnant mare, she really wasn't paying any attention to him. She was kind of, but not real, she wasn't really ambitious about it. And she was standing more in the middle of her pen, and he was standing at the rail, and I was able to walk right up to him and grab the lead rope and walk out of the situation. And, I didn't start, breathing a sigh of relief until I got back down to my tack room. I grabbed the halter and lead rope that I wanted that had a chain on it and, a little more bite and a longer line. And I went to my round pen, locked ourselves in there, and changed his gear out. Okay. So, could have been a hell of a lot worse, right? Somebody could have got a leg stuck in the fence. Somebody could have gotten bit. Somebody else could have gotten out. All these lists of things. I mean, this was a huge close call, and it was bad. I don't ever want to be in that position again. I'm sure there will be more, but now I'll know how to handle it a little bit better, and I'll know how to prepare myself a little bit better. So I need to make sure, that I have the correct equipment on my horse before I get ready to work with him. And I need to have a better handle on him on the ground, right? So how does that happen? Well, I will go back and tell you that I took him out of the round pen. I walked him up to my house, lap around, came back down, lots of squealing, head in the air, but we just had to get through it. We had to get it done. I had to get it done. You don't gain the experience or learn from the experience if you don't actually do it. You have to do it in order to gain something from it and learn. So, put yourself in this uncomfortable position and situation and do it. So I did make him do it, and then I came back down and I tied him up, and he stood tied the rest of the day. But in the future, I will always have, the correct halter and lead rope on him. If not my 16-footer, I'll have a 25-footer on him. Because even if he gets away from me with the 25-footer on, there's enough line on the ground there that you can get up to him and grab the end of that rope, and you're not worried about getting kicked. You're not worried about being in striking distance or anything like that, and you're not worried about them running away from you if you get too close, okay? So I talked to several friends, about 3 different friends, the following day, and 3 had the exact same recommendation to do with him in the future. Teach him to back up on the line. And they said the key is to catch it before, the head even goes in the air, before the nickering starts, before you even lose his attention. Make sure that he stays connected to you. And they said something about when, and now I want you guys to comment below if you've had this experience and if you know the scientific reason why this happens. Okay, because there is science behind this, I'm positive, but I haven't quite put my finger on it. I haven't looked it up in a book yet to figure out why. Now, in large ranching situations, when they turn the stud out, they're nickering, they're squealing, they're running towards their mares, okay? So what one of my friends said, he says, I always have to back them up, back them off. He goes, it's something about making them go backwards that they can't keep the same thought in their head. They can't keep thinking about mares and hormones and sex when they're going backwards. So he says he does a lot of that. Both friends told me they do a lot of that, making them go backwards, because when you turn them out, it's forward, it's nickering, it's going to breed. And so the next day, I practiced that. Now, I took him completely away from, our distraction, okay? I didn't try to do this in front of our distraction. I took him into a controlled setting. So I went in the round pen and on the outside of the round pen where there's no corrals, and he's absolutely fine, right? And I kept after it. I was very, very consistent. I might have to do a video of that for you guys. If you guys want a video, hit like, give me a thumbs up or something in the comments. So this is what I was doing with him. And then the following day, I worked him again, and I worked him really hard. And then I needed to take him back up for a walk and walk him past those mares again. And your gut's just kind of like, oh, I don't want to deal with this again. Make sure you got your gloves on because you're gonna get some rope burn today, right? And I just kept on, I'd take a few steps and back up, and then take a few steps and then ask him to back up. I also carried like it was actually a lunge whip that broke, and so it was kind of more like a dressage stinger whip, but it was a hard one, so in case I needed it, I could, get him in the chest if I needed to. And make him know where his place is. And I wouldn't say he was 100% better. I wouldn't even say he was 75% better, but he was probably 25% better than what he was the day before. And I will take any sort of improvement at this point, and I need to just keep on putting him in this position to get these experience, because I want to make this horse a performance horse, and I need to make him a performance horse for the sake of those babies that he's sired, and for the sake of my friend's program and the program that he came from. And I need to keep on putting him in these positions, because if I'm not putting him in these situations, then how do I go and perform on him? How do I haul anywhere? How do I take him to town? How do I take him to the vet? How do I do anything with him? So, and at the end of the day, they're all still animals with animal instincts, As much as we want to give them human feelings and human characteristics, it's not going to work, they don't work that way. They're animals. They don't work that way. Chris Voss said that in high pressure situations, we don't rise to the occasion. We fall to our lowest level of preparation. Now I'm going to take that one step further. We don't rise to our highest level and rise to the occasion. We fall to our lowest level of education. So that's what we have to do to prepare ourselves for these situations. And preparation is everything. Education is everything. We have to work with these horses and help them understand that this is what is expected of them in all of these situations. When you are in the tack, when you have equipment on, this is how I expect you to be. And it doesn't go just for stallions. It's mares, it's babies, it's geldings, it's everything across the board. If they have a halter and lead rope on, they are to behave. So, one of the things that I evaluate a horse on when I'm choosing whether to keep it a stud or not is a question that my old boss asked me one time when I was riding a stud for him, and as a client stud, and this sucker was just zooming with me around the round pen. Like we're just going, and we weren't going to stop, and we just kept running. We kept running. He goes, "Hey, Becky, how do you like riding that?" He's kind of teasing me, doing the cowboy thing, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's a good time." And horse wouldn't stop, and this is before I do what I do now. And he goes, "You want to ride more just like that?" And I tell you what, that is the value that I base the decision on whether I decide to keep one a stud or not, is whether I want to ride more just like it. So there's some older studs out there that were never rode, or maybe they were started really young and they're not proven in the show pen, so to speak, or proven in the branding pen, or they've never been to town, but they've had enough offspring out there that I've ridden that I go, you know what, I want to ride more just like this. And I've ridden enough stud prospects now that I know which ones that I want to ride more of and be around and feel safe around, because I really don't want to be around a horse that I have to be on edge on all the time. I mean, people go, oh, you're living the dream down there. Let me tell you how much anxiety I have going down to work horses every day, because I have to be so strategic in how I work everything. Case in point, I told you I've got 3 3-year-old studs in my arena with 3 3-year-old geldings and a 2-year-old gelding. And if I'm going to use my arena, I take everybody out and everybody is tied up somewhere. Now, there's several in there that are capable of untying themselves. No matter how good I tie that knot on the lead rope, they will untie themselves. And so somebody will untie himself and go over and kind of screw and pick around with the other guy. And that's no big deal because they all live together. You know, they kind of play a little bit and then they go, you're no fun. You're the same guy that was in the arena, and he goes to grazing. Now, if one of my guys that are in the corrals, because I have 2 in corrals, if one of them get out or get untied from the tie rail and they go to the guys that are in the arena, that's a wreck. So I have to be very strategic in that manner. I have one guy that's standing in the corral right now. He is very good in hand. He's very good in his groundwork. But when he stands in the corral, he will scream bloody murder at a mare, and he's never bred anything. He doesn't know. And he's never been around mares. And yet I'll bring one of my mares down to saddle her up at the tie rail, and he's the one that's screaming at her. And so it's very stressful. You know, it's not this peaceful situation. You're just like kind of waiting for him to come over the fence. You know, he hasn't, but you know, it's kind of the feeling you get. And meanwhile, I'll have, you know, others tied up. And then now my tie rail that usually accommodates 2 horses, I can only put 1, because even the damn geldings this time of year are trying to mount the mares at the tie rail, okay? I'm not kidding. It happens. Funside has been trying to mount JJ for the last 2 weeks. So I can't stand them tied together anymore, and those 2 can be turned out together. So, my other tie rail that's by my round pen, I can usually get 3 babies or 2 riders tied up there. Now it's usually only one rider. Sometimes I can't even get a gelding and a stud on there because the stud is a jerk to the gelding and he spins his butt and he starts humping his butt up like he's going to double barrel the gelding, and that turns into a wreck. So again, I have to be really strategic in everything that I do right now. I have way too many studs down there. Not all of them are staying. They're gonna, you know, there's a couple that are leaving. Pen situation is currently being changed, but we're up against time and weather and, you know, calving season and foaling season. So lots of changes are being made, but it is very stressful. There's just too damn many studs. I mean, if this is not a video to make you question why you want to have one or not, I don't know what else is. Man, every single day I've talked to different friends and, you know, just talking about having studs, and it is a pain in the ass. I am not going to lie. And everybody's broke. You know, they're all broke. They've all been handled. They've had at least 30 rides, every single one of them. If not more, if not 60 or 90 rides, but it's the time of year. It's just boys being boys. Again, animal instincts. At the end of the day, they're still an animal. You know, they're just going to do what is right for them, you know, and what they've been taught to do. So the best we can do is prepare them and prepare ourselves when we go down to work with them, you know, and make sure we have the right equipment when we do it. And then don't put ourselves in that position. Don't put ourselves in that situation. And if you are going to put yourself in that situation, make sure you have planned and prepared for it. So I think that's all I got to say about that. You guys, I hope you guys make really good choices today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. It's a continuation of my first ride on that big Grow Your Own stud. And yeah, hope you guys have a great rest of your week. We'll see you soon.